Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. My name is Kiri Fagan-Olmschneider, and I am a member of the Worship Committee. I am so glad to be here with you, whether you're here with me in Fellowship Hall or watching on the live stream. Our congregation's mission is to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. We are a church of many different beliefs, united through commitment to shared principles. Know that in whatever form you find us today, this service is here for you. If you want to follow along with a written order of service, you can find that link just below this video on our website. This is a time of year where my heart is always filled with gratitude and joy for the wonderful gifts from the garden. Today I am extra grateful because of the wonderful rain we had yesterday. I grew up in a desert where I learned to see rain as a miracle, something that I have mostly lost after many years in the Midwest. But earlier this summer, we were at a 20-year low for our soil moisture, so I have regained my thankfulness for rain. My plants will be so happy. Everyone's plants will be so happy. I have faithfully tended my plants since they were tiny little seedlings back in March. And now is the time that I get to reap tomatoes and peppers in almost overwhelming abundance. In our world where grocery stores are brimming with produce all year round, it is easy to take the gifts of plants for granted. This is the third time I'm doing a service in which I ask people to share vegetables, because I feel that it is a great way to draw our attention to the abundance that plants share with us. Today, I also want us to be reminded that plants can't do it on their own. People are also needed to feed us. Tracy, the director of Solagradia Farm, has been helping to feed people in our community for years, and she will be speaking about her experience. I hope that when you take your vegetable home today, you will do so with an appreciation for the precious gift that it is. Just a note, there is no REE today, so children are welcome to stay for the service, and we will have them come up and take first pick of the vegetables if there are any kids here. I think there might just be one. Today, for our land acknowledgement, I wanted to do something a little different. I think that sometimes just reading a list of the names of those who have been displaced can become rote. So instead, I decided to learn a little more about one of the tribes that used to occupy this land, the Kickapoo. After being forced out of their ancestral lands, they went to Texas and Mexico. As someone who grew up in Texas, I can only imagine how hard that was for them to try and live in a place that was so different from their home. They were eventually forced out of Texas and Mexico onto land given to them in Oklahoma. But in the end, much of that land was taken from them as well. However, despite all of that, they are still here. According to their website, their culture remains strong, and the language is still spoken. They offer many services and programs to their tribal members which seek to empower and improve their lives. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the Kickapoo and others who had their land taken from them by deception, coercion, and violence. And now Umita is going to come up and help me light our chalice. You're welcome to read along if you wish. In faith together, we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather Sun's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days, with lightened hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and faith. And now we will sing hymn number 65, Sweet June Days. So if we have any kids who'd like to come up, they can come pick out a vegetable. If there's anybody who'd like to come up. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Come on up. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Apparently, if people still have vegetables, please feel free to come put them on the table now. It would be a great time. Thank you so much for bringing them. Well, thanks, kids, for coming up and picking your veggies. You were very discerning. And thanks, everybody, for bringing everything. We actually needed a bigger table, so sorry about that. We're now going to do our practice of sharing the joys and sorrows. Each Sunday, we bring our individual joys, sorrows, and concerns to the sanctuary. You may come forward and drop a stone in the bowl for a sorrow, or float a petal on the water for a joy. If you have a joy or concern that you would like shared aloud this morning, you can fill out a card and give it to an usher, or send it in to joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. There are words to a blessing song that will be projected, and it's also in the order, I don't think it is actually in the order of service. You are invited to join in the song or just let it wash over you. I think we still have a couple of cards coming, but this is from Dust. This summer marked the loss of my grandparents, Samuel and Sarah Lou Hayes. They passed within 2 weeks of one another after more than 60 years of marriage. I am relieved that they no longer have to fight their respective painful battles with cancer, but I will miss their love, generosity, and warmth. This is from Charles Walworth and Caitlin. Caitlin is recovering from surgery to reattach a severed tendon after an accident. Sorry to hear that. This is from Tamika Davis. My nephew committed suicide, and it's been really bad to get over. I'm very sorry about that. Thank you all for sharing. We know that the joys and sorrows we have voiced stand with other sorrows or joys too private or intense to be shared aloud. Whatever the form, know that you are still held in the love of this community, and we will be here with you as you find your way forward. And now we're going to hear from Tracy Barkley. She has a reflection for us.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Barkley. I haven't been here for a while, so it's a little emotional to be here with you this morning, but I'm here with you this morning as director of Sola Grande Farm. But I'm also a member of this church and have been for 20 years. I know this because my husband and I joined when we were expecting our first child, and he's turning 20 later this year. So it's quite a mark of time. I was invited to provide a reflection this morning on gratitude. I will get there, but I really, in reflecting on this and thinking about the grateful heart and habit that I've developed and what gratitude means to me, I realized it took me a long time to understand that a grateful heart is a giving heart. Over the last 20 years, I've had a few distinct time periods besides all that comes with motherhood. During the first 10 years, I worked on clean water policy and advocacy with Prairie Rivers Network. I worked to reduce pollution coming into our rivers, streams, and lakes from sewage treatment plants, livestock operations, manufacturing facilities, power plants, and coal mines. I also worked to promote water conservation, especially of our precious groundwater, as well as protection of our natural spaces, including river corridors and wetlands. For the most recent 10 years, I've been working with and for Sola Grande Farm. It's a ministry of St. Matthew Lutheran Church with the mission of making fresh, healthy food available to our most food insecure. We are an urban farm in southeast Urbana, and we're committed to following organic and regenerative farming practices, providing outreach and education to encourage and empower healthy eating and development of food production and preparation skills, and building community all the while. I'm immensely proud of what we're accomplishing at Sola Grande Farm, and I know there are folks that have made this possible in the congregation today. I do encourage each of, thank you. I would encourage each of you to join us at one of our events, shop from us at markets, come to one of our volunteer days, or visit our website. Year after year, we're sharing between 20 to 30% of our harvest with the local food bank, 2 soup kitchens, 2 free markets, and have given over 130,000 pounds of fresh, healthy produce to date. We're also running a district-wide farm-to-school program in partnership with Urbana School District and Champaign-Urbana Public Health District, as well as a community-wide initiative called Solidarity Gardens that I'll speak to a little bit later. We are in the process of expanding onto an additional 29 acres, and I do have a map and materials in the fellowship hall just in the back, and we'd love to talk to you more about how we're expanding our regenerative growing practices. We're incorporating perennial fruits and nuts, and we're converting 4 acres of our farmland into an education demonstration farm. So I'll hang around after the service, and if you're interested in learning more, this is a subject I love to talk about. So I'm originally from Iowa, and my early years were spent on our family farm, which my parents returned to help extended family during difficult times. It was the 80s, and a lot of farms were struggling to make it. I didn't know it then, but I now know that we were poor. Regardless of what the bank account had or didn't have, I felt like we had what we needed. We had clean, abundant drinking water from our well, we had fresh, healthy food from our garden and coming from the farm, and the community we were connected with was rich, our family, our neighbors, and our church. I know I haven't always had an attitude of gratitude. For probably too many years, I was driven by a pretty strong streak of justice and anger. I've spent a lot of my time and energy fighting against things that take away or damage resources that are meant for all of us: clean air and water, a healthy landscape, access to nature and wilderness. And when I really think about the ills of this world, so many signs, at least to me, point to greed and selfishness. So more and more, I'm learning that gratitude is the antidote. I'm coming to find that when we take time to count our blessings, we often find we have more than we think. I recently read this statement, or this sentiment: gratitude turns what little you have into abundance. Gratitude turns what little you have into abundance. When we take time to notice, recognize, appreciate our days and what they're filled with, if we look for good things, we can fill our hearts. When our hearts are full and when we recognize we have something to share, we're in a position to help ourselves and to help others. When I look back on what I've felt driven to work on over the last 20 years, it's now clear to me that I'm deeply grateful for the clean and abundant water, food, and natural spaces that I've had access to my entire life. And I want this for every single person. I was trained as an ecologist, and I definitely think in terms of systems. Sometimes it drives people around me crazy. But when you work in the world of environmental protection, there's this cost-benefit analysis that always comes up. Always, and it's infuriating because so many of the environmental services that are essential for life are not valued, they're not quantified, and they're therefore not part of the equation. Things like water filtration, natural pest control, and pollination. It's the same for the gifts that are shared every single day between people, sharing a smile, music, words of encouragement that can spread like the good kind of contagion. Helping your older neighbors by just mowing a little longer or scooping another stretch of snow from the sidewalk, or donating the extra produce from your garden or eggs from your backyard chickens to those that are struggling to eat well. I've had the privilege of growing up with farming elders and most recently working with both accomplished and developing farmers under a wide range of conditions. Despite the reputation of always complaining about the weather, which we do, except for yesterday, except for it was during farmers market. Farmers are some of the most hopeful and generous people that I know. Farmers are caretakers, and the drive to provide for others and care for the land is strong for most, not all. Farmers are creative problem solvers that are excellent at observing and reading their surroundings. They are constantly evaluating multiple paths forward, considering the many variables and obstacles that cannot be controlled and are constantly changing. During one of the hardest seasons I've been through, my co-farmer and I were just told to just keep planting. That phrase was repeated so many times during that season, and I now, looking back, understand that it was about so much more than just planting seeds. Earlier this week, I was part of a farmer discussion group regarding mental wellness. If you are not aware, workers in the farm sector are at the highest risk for severe depression and suicide. One of the farmers shared that in his darkest days, he started practicing saying one thing each evening he was grateful for, just one. And in that time, he was really struggling to find just that one. Once he started this practice, it became easier and easier, and one became two, and two became three, and three became many, and this helped him turn a corner. Another woman I work with has a different evening practice that she's adopted to help recognize and hold what her days have to offer. It's called the GLAD technique. Has anyone heard of the GLAD technique? Okay. It serves as a reflection of the day, and it goes like this. G, think of something you're grateful for. L, think of a lesson that you've learned. A, think of something you've accomplished. And D, think of something you find delight in. It's good. G is for grateful. L is for lesson learned. A is for an accomplishment, because sometimes we forget to look back and say, like, I did that. And D is delight. What did you delight in? When our kids were younger, we used to have a ritual in our house that we simply called tea time. Every night before bedtime, we would light a candle, have a cup of tea, and a bit of a snack, and together we would say what we were thankful for. Even though this formal practice is no longer in place, I like to think that we created the space and practice of active gratitude in our family. Those were really a special part of every single day for us. Moving through the last few years under the dark cloud of COVID, we had to look for and hold on to every streak of light we could. One thing we noticed in the spring of 2020 was how many people turned to gardening. Many were homebound with extra time and energy, in need of something positive to pour into, and the fear of where our food was going to come from intensified. The mutual aid community expanded and responded, and partners already working together founded the Solidarity Gardens Initiative, including Sol Grade Farm, Cunningham Township, Urbana Park District, Urbana Free Library, and our extension, the Channing Murray Foundation. Basically, we encouraged and supported gardeners to grow more food and donate through existing channels that existed at our farm, Cunningham Township, and Channing Murray Foundation, to make sure that more fresh and healthy food was available to those in need. More garden space was developed in both private yards and public parks. Thousands of seeds and hundreds of plants were shared, tools were lended, hundreds of volunteer hours were coordinated, and thousands of pounds, literally thousands of pounds of produce were grown and shared with those struggling to eat and eat well. That's still happening today. We're in our third year of the program. Each of you that shared produce today from your home or your community garden plots are taking part in this larger network of mutual aid. Each of you recognized, whether you're feeling abundance or not, that you had something to share. And it's likely that that started with a feeling of gratitude for what you already have in your life. Recently, a SOLA staff member said to me, receiving is in the giving. My sincere hope is that each of us start or continue to look for the good in life and fill our respective cups so that we can help fill others. We each have something to share. A grateful heart is a giving heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. One of the many ways this congregation expresses its spirit of love, generosity, and interconnectedness is through sharing the Sunday offering with organizations in alignment with our values. Our shared offering for August is First Followers, and we have Tiger, or James, and Tamika from First Followers here to talk a little about their organization.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Mic check. All right. Thank you, everyone, for having us here. I represent First Followers with my colleague, Ms. Tamika Davis, this is her anniversary today, too, so I just want to thank her for being here. She gives a lot. She's an awesome lady, but I am the drop-in coordinator, and Tamika is my right hand, one of my right-hand colleagues that works with me directly. She does a lot. She's amazing. I'm going to let her tell more of her story. A little bit about First Followers. If anybody don't know, we are a grassroots organization located in Champaign County. We work with individuals formerly incarcerated as well as not incarcerated or has not been incarcerated. And I'm going to let Tamika really expound on the drop-in center aspect of First Followers, what we do. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on now with the movement that we're trying to create. It's called H3, and it stands for Harm, Hope, and Healing, where you identify the harm or the trauma, what we just did there, and then you establish the healing, and we bring in the hope. These three things must be aligned. And there's three pillars in there There's an economic development and as well as a economic empowerment and development, as well as an outreach and healing component. And then there's this grassroots outreach and as well as working with the individuals, building a stronger community. So that's the H3 component to what we're doing now with First Followers. There's the drop-in center. Again, Tamika will be talking about that. There's Go Mad, which is Go Make a Difference for the young men ages 18 to 24, formerly incarcerated. We teach them carpentry skills. We teach them how to buy a house, talk about financial literacy. And this is one of their sons here. Yeah. And we help them get in school, help them get involved. We got some of them that's truck driving now. We got individuals that's working on heating and air conditioning, as well as other things. Now, we also lost, I say, everybody's not a success. So let's just keep it honest. But for the success stories that we do have, we are proud of these guys because we want to make them go further. I understand it, and my background, again, is more in social services, and I was one of them individuals who did not have a direction, which in 1991, I got shot and I got paralyzed at a robbery in Chicago, where I'm originally from. So this is my way of giving back and keeping these other young men out of that type of trouble. Somebody has to be the sentinel at the door to stop these things from happening. So that's my calling. Everybody has to find their own. That's mine. And I love what you do, Tracy, too. So also we have the house, First Steps. And you guys were very instrumental on getting that up and going. A lot of you volunteered at First Steps, came there, helped us get it up and running. That's a halfway house that we're doing now for the guys, only for the men, it's not for women. And so far, we had about a dozen individuals come through First Steps, and we had some pretty good success stories through there. We got individuals now in college going, and we got, one of our members has brought his first house. We got to give him congratulations. Yeah. And we got another member now, we're working with him to buy his first house. And, these guys, they've been locked up over 20 years, so now they're getting out and they're getting their life started. And, it's hard to get acclimated, but to get somebody into actually owning property, from there, not looking back. Everything must look forward. Got to look forward. I think that's the goal of First Steps, and I'm proud to have that. We're proud to have that under our belt. And especially with one of the members that came through there now, he's in college. He's in college at the U of I, right? U of I? Okay. U of I. So those are the good things that I want to report to kind of let you know this is where we want to go with this. The goal of First Followers is to create stronger communities through support and guidance. That's our goal. So our values align, just like you said, and Unitarian Church has been I'm very grateful for you guys. We are very grateful because you have been there since the beginning, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just thankful. But with that, I wanna bring up my colleague, Ms. Tamika Davis, who it is again her anniversary. So she came, and I'm glad she came. But I'm gonna let her tell of her story because she's one of the originators. Tamika, you won't stand right here. I'm gonna brag on you for a minute. Yeah, just for a minute. She's one of the originators. First Followers started in 2015. I got a lot, don't worry. I can brag on this lady all day. First Followers started in 2015. It just started a small little huddle of individuals talking about a concept. We need to have something for reentry to get these individuals back into the community. These guys used to meet. It was just a few of them. They would meet in little hallways and corners, sneaking, over here at the county market, talking about this concept. So for this to come into a reality And she was one of the originators, a lady from the community, formerly incarcerated. Her story is amazing. I think that it just shows determination on her part to still be here today. So if you can, give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Ben.
I'm such a joke. So, yes, like Tiger said, my name is Tamika Davis, and grew up in this community. But the unique thing about me, being a little different to join this to help out with this program, is I come from the system as well, the DCFS system. With no guidance out here in this world, I kind of lost myself. And losing myself, I ended up thinking the only way for me was quick money, selling drugs. I had children. And so I ended up getting a case, and my case was federal. I had to spend 121 months in prison. And so during my incarceration, I started learning about me, started loving myself, and that's what starts, right? If you love yourself, you can go a little bit further in life. And so I came home and I got myself semi together, and then I met Marlon Mitchell at my church, Mount Olive. And so we were trying to do this prison ministry thing. It just wasn't working out. So he was like, Tamika, he was like, if I put something together, you gonna come back? He said, you gonna come with me? I said, yeah. I said, you gonna come back and get me? He said, be ready. I didn't know that this was the bigger picture, first followers. So in that bigger picture, we used to sit and we used to talk, and we like, well, what does this community need? We knew it needed a re-entry. So a little bit of my story, backpedaling just a little bit. When I came home, I was at the halfway house downtown Champaign. I don't know if you guys are familiar. That's the old downtown where the bus station was right here. We were right across from there, right? But when I came home, it moved. So I left 99, and I came home April the 27th of 2008, and I never returned. It was a struggle, but I never returned. So I ended up, they gave you these tokens, and they said, just go down to the library, put in the application. And I'm like, okay, let me get down here, go put in the application. I knew where the library was because I grew up from here. I went to Edison. I knew it was across, but I didn't know it was that big. So I go in there, and I'm just like, I go to the computer, and I just look at it. How am I supposed to navigate? I didn't even know how to navigate a computer. That was real. That was like reality. Like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, how do you put in the application? I didn't know nothing. I was just like blowed. Reality. This is my reality. So now bringing it up to speed. So when we came up with this concept, how can we help people? We came in with the drop-in center. We started at Bethel AME, Tuesdays and Thursdays. This right here, when people come home from being formerly incarcerated, like I just said, it was worse for me. My reality was I didn't know how to navigate a computer. However, now they don't have to navigate by themselves. We show them how. So a lot of people don't know how to do resumes. We do those. A lot of people don't even know if they're not even from here. Like say they was born in California, but they grew up in Champaign. They have to go in and they have to get a birth certificate. We do that as well. We help find the Social Security, that is the worst thing ever in America. If you got your Social Security card, you better keep it. But to get the Social Security card, we do that as well. So, you know, how will I go get a job? So we do the application part. But the most important part is finding clothing. So we give a $200 stipend fee. We take them shopping I'm the one to take them shopping. This is when I really get to know the person. See, on paper, anybody can say anything. You guys probably can think the worst of me, you know? But you don't know until you actually talk to that person. Everybody makes bad choices, but you don't have to stay in that choice. You can change it. And then you choose your way of life. So I learned a lot about those individuals. And that's when I learned if you're for real or if you're faking with me. So that's where, you know, that's my part. Then I help them get a cell phone because, of course, you need a phone, so we pay for the phone. We pay for a phone, and I work with Metro. And they get we pay for the first month's, and then they have to pay their own after that. We help with housing. To get these landlords to allow somebody with a background that has a job that needs housing is so hard. Me and Tiger go back and forth with these landlords. I call, he call, I tell him everything. Like, well, Tiger, this person needs. One thing about me, I will never shut a door. Nobody's gonna shut a door on me because I'm gonna open it some type of way. I'm gonna put my foot in some type of way. You're not gonna just shut that door because there's people out here that actually need help. If we want the recidivism to go down, you guys got to help. You guys have to not just go to a express personnel. What about just finding them a good job, giving them a chance? Because everybody deserves a chance. I believe in second chances, no matter what the situation may have been. If that's your if you deserve a second chance, step into me, I'm going to give you that help. And I just believe in everybody deserves second chances. And I mean, employers need to know this. People that own houses need to know this. You know, they're not living for free. They just need to learn how to pay bills. And so that is one thing as well. You know, you don't really think like a lot of people go away and then they come back, they know how to really pay a bill. That's not true. So we try to keep the recidivism down. By keeping the recidivism down, we try to help them with everything. Some people come in and be like, you know what, Tamika, I just need to talk to you. And it just may be the smallest thing, you know, they don't know how to communicate or they don't understand. Like we have a guy that he's done 27 years and he's having a hard time with his children. And because I've been through it and I'm still going through it, but I just pray and I just know that God will touch my children's heart to say that, you know what, she didn't know no better. Because I went in at 21. I came out at 30. So I did not know. You know, and mind you, I have 4 children left here. You know, so with that being said, you don't always know. And they need to know that you don't always know the way of life, you know. But as long as you prove to them different, and I feel like I've proven myself, and no longer will I carry that burden anymore, you know. But he's still going through that, you know. But our program is unique. That's what I wanted to say. Half of everybody that works in there, besides 2 people, has been formerly incarcerated, been affected by the judicial system in some type of way. We don't only just deal with people that's been incarcerated. We deal with people that just have felony convictions, and it's hard for them to find a job. And they need that voice, and we are that voice. And so my thing is, we're boots on the ground. And here's Tiger.
I'm not going to take up much of your time. I don't have much to say after all that, man. That's a lot. And I think she pretty much drew the picture of what we do and what we are trying to get done here. And I don't want to take up much of your service time. I just want to thank you guys for having us out again. Carrie, everybody. And, that's Tiger spelled with T-Y-G-A-R. It's an acronym. It's Transform Your Goals in Reality. For a long time, I felt stuck, and I didn't see no way out. So I had to realize that you do have the power of the way out, but you have to believe in yourself first. It's a tenet I live by. So I thank y'all, and that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tiger and Tamika, for telling us about First Followers and for sharing your story. Okay, so we heard about First Followers. So half of the cash in our offering baskets this morning will be given to First Followers, or you can write a check to UCUC with First Followers in the memo line, and the whole amount of the check will be donated. The offering will now be taken. So now I'm going to invite everybody up to pick out a vegetable. Hopefully, maybe we can be a little bit quicker than the kids were in making your decision. And children are welcome to come get a second one if they promise to decide quickly. And I just want to thank everyone so much for everything that you brought today. We definitely needed a bigger table, so there's actually some stuff on the floor because we ran out of room. So thank you so much. If you brought something, if you didn't, that's totally fine. We obviously have plenty to share. And I do have little baggies, so for little things like the cherry tomatoes or the green beans, if you want to take like a handful, I have baggies for you. So if everybody could kind of, maybe we should start at the front, I guess, and then we'll work our way back. And so if you can kind of come up the center aisle and then make your way down the sides. All right. Thank you so much for coming and picking your vegetables. And I just wanted to let everyone know that everything that's left over is getting donated through Sola Gratia, the Solidary Gardens they mentioned, where they distribute it to the community. So thanks again for everyone's generosity and for participating in my vegetable exchange. We're now going to sing our closing hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. And now to the extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together. Michael. I really like that last one. Yeah.